Hey everybody, it's your boy Protagonist JWA with Gardening with JWA. And sorry the craziness. So there's my working on the mulch. And then here's the mulch pile. As you can see, I've collected a lot of debris. I talked about this a little bit on the gaming channel, but effectively, here's how the yard's looking. All that white is all the trunk paint I did. The sun angle is just not great. So I'm gonna have to kind of do it at a little bit of a weird angle. But let's go on in and see what's going on. So here, if I do this, it'll be a little bit nicer. So this right here is the Fukushu. Doing pretty good. Got some nice specimens. Right there is just bird bath water. Got some nice specimens. I'd say probably like golf ball size. Hey Kim, you wanna? So we already harvested. And these dots are from the foliar spray. Already harvested. The way I work is when you water. At least I've noticed when you water, the sweetness level in the fruit drops versus if you let it dry out a little bit. So like have a day or 2 or 3 without watering. So what I do is I kind of plan my watering around when I harvest. So I'll harvest and then I'll do a water, let it dry out for a few days. Then I'll harvest again, then let it water. And I also time it around rain. Because it's been raining so much, I've only been watering, here or there, like once a week. When it rains, I didn't have to water because that was the once a week. But now that we're kind of out of the rainy season for a bit, it's warming up. I'm getting back and growth starting to push. I'm getting back to watering every day. So the way I'm going to do it is I water, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I stop watering. Friday, Saturday, it dries out. Sunday, I harvest another batch of citrus or whatever fruit that happens to be available. And then I do a longer water on Sunday, and then I start the cycle again. That's going to be my plan this year. So that way I can kind of just have a consistent harvest window of every Sunday. I will go out, harvest fruit, and then eat them over the next week. And then every Sunday do the same again. I think that's a smart way to go about it. What I'm also going to do this year is I'm going to alternate between soil drench and so fertilizing liquid fertilizers when I water, and also a foliar feed. I'm using the Nutrient Plus from Arizona Worm Farm. Fun fact, I destroyed a lot of my freaking foliar sprayers because it has the guts in there of the soldier fly larva. So I'm gonna have to get a mesh. I'm gonna have to get a funnel, a mesh bag, and a new foliar sprayer, so that way I can properly filter out the guts and then just use that in the in-ground. What's going on? So yeah, this.
I mean, you're gonna have to hang on to that because
this little puppy. Let's see if I can do it in the shade that's better. This little puppy right here, that's some more debris. I gotta move it, but it's got thorns. This little puppy is a Fukushu, which I harvested from this about like a day or 2 ago. Kim, you want to take a bite?
Well, I have to handle him real quick.
What, does he try to eat grass?
Well, I mean that, and he,
Take a bite. Thank you kindly. Almost a terrible bite. So this is the inside. I don't know if you could see that very well. I'm not going to squeeze. Oh, shit. I don't want to lose the juice. A lot of people squeeze the juice out, but I think that's such a waste.
Sorry, I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Okay. Fukushu is really good. Sorry. Now that we're in mulch season, fertilizer season, little Deanie Weenie over there is trying to get himself in trouble. Most of the beds are doing pretty good, but that bed's got grass. A couple of those beds got grass. So I gotta deal with it. And then obviously that mulch pile is gonna go to topping off the mulch levels, as you can kind of see. But I gotta get some type of inorganic drainage, to use some lava sand, vermiculite, whatever, to dump a bag in here before I dump in another layer of mulch. That way I'm kind of like a lasagna, because if you just do too much, over time the chips break down. It's just pure organic matter, and I want there to be good mineral action. Also found out that you can apparently order basalt in like larger sizes, so like quarter minus, and then you could just use that, and it's a really good mineral composition. So I'm gonna have to look into that in the future. I've got a lot of big projects. So here's the lemon, the Meyer lemon. Effectively with this guy, I'm going to take until I get a vacuum blender, because it preserves the nutrients better. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a simmer on the peels, and then take that water and the peels, and then obviously the regular lemon inside itself, put it through a juicer to make my own lemonade. And because I do everything, I'm comfortable eating the peels, I want to get as much nutrients from there as possible. Here, I think this is Sanguinelli, and that is Moro. These are blood oranges, so these guys aren't going to be really... you're not going to be able to really eat these until March, maybe February at the earliest. What you want to see is... I don't see if I can see it. You want to see like that red blush right there. You want to see that pretty good. The darker that is on the outside, especially for the darker it's going to be on the inside, is what you really want with the blood orange. So for me, blood oranges are more, March, April, maybe late February. So let's keep going. Now we harvested all the fruit off this guy. This guy has another one. I found a surprise lemon and I ate it, and it was delicious. It was pink because it's a pink lemon. It's a variegated lemon. Chopped it way back. It's starting to flower again. Look at that. Savagery. But if you can't see it down there. There's a little, where is it at? See that? It's just right there. Oh, I don't want to get all the white on me. But there's another lemon out there. There's another variegated lemon, so I'm excited about that. That brings us to the Tango. The Tango, so the variegated lemon is pretty much... Oh, what the freak? There's more. Holy shit. Pardon my language. Okay, there's way more lemons. After I pruned it, I can see more now. Okay, there are way more lemons on this than I knew. Sweet. That is awesome. So I can make myself some pink lemons. Pink lemonade. So then I got the Tango right here. As you can see, good amount of fruit. We harvest a couple of these. I pretty much wait till they get like, well, hold on, let me go in my pocket. About this. Well, almost it's got kind of like a reddish a little bit to it. This is a pretty good size fruit. I'm trying to think what I could compare it to, but it's, I don't know, what is that, like width wise, like a tennis ball? So it's pretty good size. Kim, do you want to peel this for me? The Tango right here. You peel that and I'll keep going on, and we'll go back and we can try it. Ugh. Obviously, Yori Zane looks like it's about to bust and stuff like that. Here's another Sioux. There's a bird's nest in there. Nothing's in it. But this tree, Tango, is really January through March. Through April is my Tango range. And I just harvest it as they either, a branch might be breaking, so I have to harvest a couple to reduce the weight, or it's just ready. So I just harvest the ones that are ready. Okay, Kim, you want to try that? Tell me what you think.
You show?
Oh, yeah, these things are almost virtually seedless, which is crazy because I have so much citrus that even a lot of seedless varieties end up seeded because of the fact that they get pollinated because they just have so much. Oh. Tangy. Sweet. No seeds in this one. Fix the camera. Kyla, what are you doing? What's up, Kyla? Oh, my beautiful Aravaipa avocado. Painted. I think it's gonna bust with some blooms. When this thing blooms, sorry, you're gonna hear the freaking Candyman over there. When this thing blooms, I'm gonna spray a little bit of diluted honey on this, and that's gonna make the bees pollinate the crap out of it. It's gonna be super sweet. Tropic pink guava. Didn't cold protect this. Beautiful. Let's see here. This is the Shiranui, which I previously covered, so super good. This guy we already harvested everything from. So this guy and the other guy that I said we already harvested everything from, those are essentially mid-December to like mid-January. So December to January, these guys are popping. This is the Secret Lemon that's super thorny that I thought was a Washington Navel. I honestly, I hate the thorns, but it does make a lemon, so that's a plus. Here's another cutie type mandarin. I think this might be a Murcott. Dude, honestly, I messed up. I know what everything is except for this one and those other two. And it doesn't help that they all look like freaking tangos. You know what I mean? Like, it looks so much like a tango. But this guy, well, obviously, I forgot to prune off some of the dead branching there. And I gotta, once I harvest, I gotta spread this guy out a little bit. And then maybe do a little bit more painting. And obviously, I gotta take the grass out of this raised bed. But this guy's gonna be producing. That's really nice. We go over here. We have ourselves a little Miwa, which has a little fruit. It looks like it might be damaged, though. We pop that. Oh, you know, that's actually not bad. Let me take a bite. Yeah, it's trash. Miwas are usually really good. That just wasn't there. Marumi, which I think is a parent to the Miwa. And the Marumi, don't forget, guys, the speckling of brownie seed is the foliar spray. But the Marumi, I think, is the parent. And this, it's like I guess it's like a Miwa, but it's a little spice. Taraka blood orange. Sherry Loquat full. It's been blooming. So the blooms are starting to come to an end, and we'll see what actually turns out into fruit. But it kind of blooms during a period of time. Everything's happening earlier this year. This is my seedling, so it doesn't look like it's going to bloom this year, but hopefully next year it'll bloom. Because my hope is that it blooms at the same time as this guy, and then we'll be able to get actual harvest. I did get harvest from these guys. These are the various pineapple guavas. Very strange taste to them. This right here, Indio Mandarin Quat. Straight up, I got this because it's unique, but from a flavor perspective, it's not that great. It's like, there's so many superior kumquats like this. It's not, if you don't have space, it's not worth taking up for it. Obviously discovered that late. Like, if I go back in time, would I have this tree? Probably not. Super productive, but can be prone to burning, so it like just damages the inside of the fruit. So put all this fruit in an area where obviously there would be sunburn. So my thought process with this guy is, once I get the vacuum blender, I'm gonna blend it all up, and which preserves the nutrients because it doesn't have air in it, right? And then I'm gonna run that slurry through the juicer, and I'm just gonna turn this guy into a mandarin juice. Natal plum, thornless lime, so Mexican key lime, which is looking really pretty. Lime quat, which is, now this lime quat is on its own roots. It's not on a rootstock. I have another lime quat on its rootstock that's newer. This one's just a clone. Interestingly enough, the fruit I tasted from this guy, from the parent that I took the cutting from, tastes like a lime, sweet skin, everything's amazing, right? This, sweet skin, everything's amazing, tastes good, but it tastes like a lemon. And here's the fruit. Like, there's some big old fruits. Look at that. That's crazy. That's got to be like 3 inches right there. That's crazy. It's hard. Like, I use a knife to cut this open. It's crazy to take the tip off. Hold on. Oh shit. I have juice in there. I'm not gonna waste the juice. It was Dean eating the grass. See that juice? See that? Oh shit. It's like, tastes like a lemon. Holy shit, straight up. But like, the skin is nice and sweet. It's like an edible lemon, so it's almost like a slightly less sugary lemonade. It's like a lemonade with like too little sugar, so it's still drinkable, but it's got all that it's still got that real powerful bite. Tim, you want to watch out? Well, I guess I'll. Yeah. 1 second, guys. Dude, like that thing's massive. Like holy shit. Pardon my language. Well, Kim, I don't want to get you the shot. Kim's trying to fix the rosemary. They end up becoming a crawling rosemary. Shangri-La, dwarf everbearing. It's putting on like these micro fruit, but it came out in the cold time, so these fruit aren't going to be good. But as it's going to start to really, really flush out, it'll produce a lot. We actually got pomegranates, super nice. There's a fig. Strawberry guava. We got pomegranates. So what I'm going to do is next weekend I'll just pretty much chop this at a certain height, and then I'll take all the fruit off. I don't know if it's going to be good or not. Like I said, these figs kept producing even though the birds are loving it, so I'm leaving them on for the birds, but this isn't really edible because of the cold. But the birds are still eating the crap out of it, so I'm letting them do it. I cut down the olive. That fruit got destroyed, but same dealio here. I'm going to chop this guy at the base and then let him sprout out. I got to super de-weed this. And then those are just empty beds that I've been dumping all the logs into. And then this is my Fuyu persimmon. I got to stake this guy up. I got to kill the vetiver grass. Hold on. That's the vetiver grass. A bunch of peas sprouted up out of nowhere. Kind of damaged them a little bit. Golden Dorset. Hold on. Tropic Sweet. I think red Malaysian. Trying to remember all of these. Miwa, Bakushu, Limequat. They're all popping out good. I missed some of the fruit on it, so I'm just gonna let it do its thing. I'm just gonna let it do its thing. Lemonade, New Zealand lemonade. So it's pretty nice. Golden Nugget. Valencia Midnight. Mango, which I didn't cold protect at all. Subel Sapote. Graft seedling. Who knows what that is? Sweet almond. Oh, I missed doo-doo. Damn, I knew someone took a dump. I was looking for it. You always got, like I said, when you have a bunch of dogs, a bunch of trees, you want to pick it up a lot, especially before you're doing new stuff. Ruby grapefruit, Florida Prince, which I can show this. I'm trying not to get Kim in the shot. Florida Prince, which is going to start budding out. Calamondin, I did a top cut. And then I do have, hold on. Let me take the stem off because I chop them off. Because if you tear them off, they get the tear and then it's not as good. So I'd been chopping them off with the clippers. This is the guy here. You can eat them green. They pretty much produce year round. Obviously, when it's cold, they're orange. When it's not cold, they're green. And they're a little bit more bitter when they're green, but I like them. When they're orange, they're actually not really bitter at all. It's like, they call it Philippine lime. I mean, it's good. His lime flavors for sure. Ugh, almost slipped. All this debris. Let me try to get over here real quick. So, Suriname cherry, but man, those things don't work. Cara cocktail, Rio grapefruit, and then let me get a different shot here. Ugh. Chop down the moringa. So now the moringa, I'm gonna chop it. But for now, I just did a basic cut. Got all the debris. I'm gonna have to mulch that too. But you'll see that once this is gone, there's a nice middle space here, so it's like I'll have access, so it's not too tight. That's gonna be pound size sweet lime. There was a lime on there, but it was trash. I don't know if it was because I didn't fertilize it or what. The lime was horrible. I know for a fact, based on what I've watched people taste test it, that was just a fact that it was just like tasted like nothing. It was like watery. I don't know what went on with that. It is what it is. It happens, you know, sometimes you get first fruit and it just tastes like garbage. This is a Page Mandarin who I'm gonna let flower and fruit this year. So letting fruit, obviously letting fruit. Here's the Kishu, which this is essentially late December to late January, because we harvested all the fruit off this. It's the Kishu Mandarin. Really sweet, super airy, it's crazy. So that's fruiting. Watch out, Morty. See all the debris. I got this cool tool, so I let all the weeds grow up to like 3 to 4 feet, and I use this Japanese tool to just cut them at their base and then just chop and drop. You can see it. It's so crazy all around. Well, it's these weeds. Just chop and drop all around. Then weed eater. Because my thought process is while everything's kind of deciduous and stuff, let's let all of the weeds act as like solar panels for the soil to keep the microbes alive and stuff like that. And then now that we're starting to hit transition, I'm doing a chop and drop. These things will spring back up because it's still good weather for them. And then probably about April, chop and drop again, or early May. And then what will happen is none of them will be able to survive the heat, so they'll all die off. And then they'll sprout back up again in the fall. And I just use them for biomass and then to harness energy and pump it into the soil, because, you know, you got to think about, hey, what's actually feeding energy into your soil? If you don't have anything green, you need something green, and some of these weeds can be a really good avenue there. Obviously, and because I fertilize either via foliar feeding or saturation, I'm not concerned about competing resources. You know, so which would be different if I was like talking about the raised beds where I pull everything out. I'm talking about, because everything in the raised beds is essentially evergreen, but I'm talking about like in the ground. The more roots in the ground breaking up the soil, the better. Mexican elderberry. So this guy took a beating. These two guys, I had them too high, so I put these sticks around them and put some extra spare soil on them because they were eroding too much, so the roots were getting exposed and they were just drying out like crazy because they're a little too far from the drippers. So I've been watering them to keep their stuff moist. So hopefully this is the Valentine pomelo, and then this is the Hamlin orange, sweet orange. So judging by their size, if I play my cards right and I give them, if they do really good this year, and you can barely see it, but they're starting to pseudo bud out, these little things. So they're going to bud out. So if I play my cards right, these things are going to be super amazing and grow really, really big this year. Next spring, I'll let them fruit. So hopefully that happens. This is probably another year from there to fruit, but we'll see. Because I'm using the fruit as a way to keep the size down. Because I did do pruning cuts on some of these to shape the size. Some of the other ones I had talked about earlier. It's because I want to keep them small. And once they have a certain trunk thickness, yeah, you might have to stake them from the weight, but they can support. So using the fruit as a way to stunt them. Tahitian, Fukumoto. And then obviously Flavor Delight Aprium. Gold Kissed Apricot. Yes. I already said Mexican elderberry. Okay, well that's it. I mean, holy cow, right? Whew. A lot of it. My pocket's empty, so that's all the fruit I brought. But yeah, I mean, the yard's looking really good. As more stuff comes online, the goal with the citrus is I'll effectively have citrus between December through July. I could still have some stragglers in August. I could still have some earlier birds in November, especially with like a Fukumoto. And if I can get a Mars or a Hamlin, you can kind of pick those earlier. But December through July will eventually be covered. The next question is, what am I doing August through November? The persimmon, we'll see where that lands. I'm going to let it produce this year. The persimmon technically could produce September, October, or October, November, but it's still yet to be seen. So what I'm thinking is once we get the patio done, I'm looking at Asian pears, and jujubes, but deciduous jujubes, because they're just easier. Like I said, I like the mangoes and stuff, but like it takes. I have one mango out there. I'll probably always try to have one mango to see if I can get it going good. But it takes a long time, and I want something simple that produces a lot of fruit. That's kind of my thought process. Anything else?
You want to walk forward and see what I did?
Oh yeah, I can see
a little bit of water, but I trimmed them down. I think as long as one things are still bendy, he can still get leaves on them.
Yeah, he's still good.
Down in there, see what you think. Although I might need you to help me readjust them again.
Yeah, it looks good.
It's rosemary, you guys.
Yeah, no, that looks really good because it was just, you can see the shadow spot was just crawling on the floor.
Kind of show people better, but hold on.
I'll let you water.
I don't know if that's gonna be enough.
That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, so fingers crossed. Jasmine.
Well, yeah, the jasmine tea leaf right there.
Yeah.
And then the other one is almond.
Sweet almond, yeah.
You should get close up on those. There's a lot of bees on there, and the flowers are really pretty, and they smell nice.
Look at that.
They smell
Beautiful.
They smell like vanilla almond, you guys.
I'm going to cut the vetiver ground. The vetiver served its purpose. I was using the vetiver to protect this guy, so I let it get really big, but now I have to base chop it. It's just really hard to get rid of. But yeah, I think that's really it for a yard. Redo here. I think things that could also fruit in that window might be the strawberry and the lemon guava, but those guys are in struggle city, so fingers crossed for them. But yeah, no, I think that's it, guys. I'm really looking forward to next year. I think I'm gonna let that guy's trunk down there is massive. He's freaking at an angle. I'm trying to pull him back, but I didn't do so well. His trunk's massive, so I'm letting him go full production.
You mean this year?
Taraka, yeah, he's going full production.
No, I meant you're like, I'm excited for next year. You mean this year?
Well, that's when the fruit is going to be there.
Oh.
The fruit, because how citrus work, right? It's the fruit after. But this guy's full production. One more year. I'm going to stop him for one more year. I'm hoping next year these guys, the Shiranui, will get thick enough that I can actually let them produce next year and then just use that production. Because here's the graft, right? So I want them to branch out like from these sides. If I can get him to branch out from those sides, his trunk will thicken up. So fingers crossed. Same with this Aravaipa. I think they produce like August through November is their producing period. So if this guy does flower, I am going to spray the honey, because that's the trick I learned, on the flowers to get them to produce. And yeah, it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. I think this is going to be really good. I just, like I said, once I got to get the patio done. This is just money. It means I just got to save up, reduce expenses, and then I'll be able to get a patio, and then I'll do my final strip. Essentially, it'll be a bracket, so it'll be some along the fence here. Along this fence, I'll have probably a couple more pomegranates against the wall, because I can just keep them as a bush and chop them. Along this, I'll probably have some Clement type, cutie type mandarins. And then right here, I'm going to have the jujubes and then the Asian pears. And then around them on the edges, I'll have probably like this part, I'll have that. And then right here, I'll have citrus. That'll be you're saying what citrus would you do? I'd probably do I'd probably just do some random mandarin types, because I look for harvest window. Later ones are always good. I want a Mars orange, which is a sweet orange that produces really early. All the sweet oranges, I might look into some non-Washington navels. If you have a Caracara, it's like, why do you want a Washington navel, right? It's kind of pointless. Okay, in my opinion, Caracara is going to be a superior version, right? So, yeah, that's the general thought process. Been rambling long enough. I got to go. Hopefully my battery ain't tapping out on me. I appreciate you guys. And hopefully I'm going to get back into doing just the regular weekly update, and hopefully by next Sunday you'll be able to say, wow, J-Watt actually got through that first pile completely, and then now I'll just be working on the second pile because it's two of them. But keep your fingers crossed. I got this. Bye guys.